So again, Clemson won the toss. They elected to defer. It means Dylan Sampson, who's a dynamic, speedy, true freshman running back and return man for the Vols, is set to return if he gets the chance from B.T. Potter, an excellent Clemson specialist. So Joe Milton in place of the injured All-SEC quarterback Hendon Hooker, who he's had a long college career, Greg. Of course, was up at Michigan as the quarterback with Coach Harbaugh. Then he transfers down to Tennessee after winning the starting job in 2020 that he eventually lost to Cade McNamara. Comes down to Tennessee, and he actually wins the starting job before Hendon Hooker took over after a couple games.
And he is remarkably gifted thrower of the football. I mean, you just watch the ball come off his hand. It's ridiculous. His arm is as strong as any I've ever seen at the college level, and sometimes that works against him.
Milton to open up this Orange Bowl with a pass that's deflected up at the line of scrimmage. It appeared that Barrett Carter was in the midst, right in front of Milton's face.
Of course, tempo, a huge part of what Tennessee does offensively, and that's difficult to prepare for, especially in the bowl season.
And you see that tempo right away, and again it's deflected, but this time it is caught by Squirrel White. So first two pass attempts by Milton, you got a hand deflecting the ball.
Trotter that got the deflection. He's been playing great football down the stretch.
They're down in 6. Milton able to hook it up and connect with Squirrel White for a first down. The 165-pound elusive true freshman.
On 3rd and 5 right there. Clemson's defense playing very, very soft, giving up an easy completion for the conversion.
Well, you saw Tennessee quick to the line. Looked like they were getting ready to snap with about 30 seconds. And then Brian Brzee, the excellent defensive lineman for Clemson, needed the trainers to come out for a visit.
Look at the cushion to the right-hand side. It's 3rd and 5. They bring internal on the rotation, trying to rob the middle of the field. You have an easy little hook route. You throw for a nice completion and an easy conversion. But at some point, look, we all know that Tennessee is not afraid to take the top off the defense. You know Clemson's trying to keep the ball in front of them. You can't play that soft with that down and distance, or Tennessee will convert every single time.
Milton with time on first down. That ball was nearly intercepted as Barrett Carter had a chance on it. He was looking to connect with Squirrel White.
One that definitely should have been caught here. Ball's right on the money. It has definitely come with some velocity.
Quickly to the outside, but not much there for White as Makuba was quick to get on top of him.
Last time with this down and distance, Clemson dropped that internal dropper from the safety spot and played very soft. Let's see if they get up and challenge those receivers a little bit more. It looks like that's exactly what they're going to do.
Pressing on the top of the screen here on 3rd and 6. Milton. He is taken down. Rook Orororo with the sack of Joe Milton on 3rd down. The flag is down on the near side at the 40-yard line.
And you're going to see Rook Orororo right there working against Carvin and beats him up inside.
With a sideline warning.
Just a great job there by Orororo. Working upfield, getting on the same level as the quarterback, and then collapsing and disengaging from Carvin.
4th sack of the year for Orororo. 6'6", Paxton Brooks on to punt. Antonio Williams, true freshman, deep to return. And that goes out of bounds, which leads us to the arrival of Cade Klubnik, the freshman quarterback who we discussed earlier had such a stellar high school career at Westlake High, the famed program down in Austin, Texas. 4-0, 3 state titles, was a speedster. Correct, we had track and field success, and with that, the #1 ranked dual threat quarterback in the class of 22.
Yeah, and when you watch him, it's obvious that he's got great physical talent, very athletic, very accurate with the football, but what I love most is he plays with such urgency. You can almost feel like he wants to go tempo all the time, and that's an indicator of his competitiveness and feel for the game.
Will Shipley taken down by Amari Thomas. Shipley, the sophomore from Weddington, North Carolina. And then Hooker talking things over with Joe Milton. And Shipley splits out here on 2nd and 6. Klubnik, first start, first pass, and he is torn down. That was Aaron Beasley coming in hot.
And just a great timing right here. And the right guard, Parks, just can't get down in time. He sees it late. Just a great finish there by Beasley as he timed it up beautifully.
Leading tackler on the Vols defense coming up big. And this is a defense that's without some key players. Jeremy Banks, the other starting linebacker, opted out on Christmas Eve. 3rd and 14 after the sack. Klubnik pressured again. Launches it downfield, and what an effort to come up with it! Cole Turner with the diving catch.
What an unbelievable catch by Cole Turner up the sideline. They didn't want to burn his red shirt, but he was just too good to keep off the field. He high points it beautifully against cover 2 and reels it in.
33-yard reception for a first down. And as Shipley goes ahead for 2 yards, and we look at our Chick-fil-A impact players.
Very clear who the impact players are going to be for Clemson's offense. It's Will Shipley at running back, just outstanding. And now Antonio Williams, the freshman, he's got so much juice. And then defensively, Beasley, we've already heard from him. He's got to play big with Jeremy Banks not being available. And Byron Young, the edge rusher, is going to be putting pressure on the freshman all night long.
Klubnik, play action, gets it quickly to the outside to Ngata. Ngata, who has struggled with injuries in his career, has always been thought of as having huge upside, comes up with a 14-yard reception and another first down for the Tigers.
Really nice anticipation right there from Cade Klubnik. Threw it before the receiver got out of his break, and it was an easy completion.
Shipley on first down, going to test the right side, but very good pursuit down the line as that Clemson front is able to have Harrison fit it up. Roman Harrison with the tackle.
I think this Tennessee defense is very underrated. They've done a pretty good job being disruptive. They're very active at the line of scrimmage. They force a lot of negative plays and get you off schedule, but they are a little bit vulnerable in the secondary.
They've been thinned out there. Injuries have gotten the best of them. 2nd and 11, they go underneath with Williams as they counter Antonio Williams on the ground. It'll be 3rd down and about 5 after that.
Nice design.
Page with the tackle of Williams.
Taking advantage of the aggressiveness of the Tennessee defense. Misdirection has been effective against Tennessee, especially late in the year.
3rd down and 4.
Keep an eye on the tight end at the top. A lot of room over Davis Allen.
Number 2, top of your screen is big number 84. 3rd down and 4, Klubnik. And the coverage of Allen came from Jalen McCullough.
I like the decision from Cade Klubnik. You give your big 6'6" tight end a chance to work in one-on-one. Trying to hit the fade, trying to throw it high where he can go up and get it and make a play on it. The ball's just a little bit too high. If Davis Allen had a 71-inch vertical, he might have reeled it in, but they're in the mid-30s. Probably not going to happen.
Veteran kicker B.T. Potter. He comes into this Orange Bowl with 71 career field goals. The Clemson record is 72. This will be a 44-yard attempt. And it is a fake with Sweeney. He runs option on the fake. And Tennessee stops him. Drew Sweeney, the holder, Dabo's son, who has scored on a fake PAT on a two-point conversion off a hold, comes up short on the fake here. So they roll the dice early. Drew Sweeney kept it himself, was wrapped up on 4th down as you're watching the Capital One Orange Bowl.
Pitchman, too, would love to have a running back in there, but you have to attack the outside shoulder of the end man on the line of scrimmage. Sweeney attacks the inside shoulder, and if you really look at what's outside, B.T. Potter might hit his head on the goalpost if he pitches. No,
still look at the reaction on the Tennessee sideline.
He's all fired up. It's a great play, but man, that was a missed opportunity from Clemson.
So Tennessee back out there as they go inside, and shaking free is McCoy. Brew McCoy, as you hear the Tennessee faithful raining down the Brew chant from here in Miami.
He needs to
that
be
goes
big
for 11 yards.
He needs to be big tonight in the absence of Jalen Hyatt and Cedric Tillman. And McCoy is their most accomplished wide receiver coming back that plays the outside. Squirrel White is terrific in the slot, but Brew's got to be big on the perimeter.
Jabari Small not finding much against that talented and stout defensive line for Clemson. So Cedric Tillman, who was a breakout star a year ago, he was injured this year. He's into the NFL process. As there is a Tennessee offensive lineman who was slow to get up. You mentioned Jalen Hyatt, the unanimous first-team All-America. He opted out as well. We'll take a break as the training staff is out on the field. And Nebraska's Tom Osborne had his final game in a co-national championship. Peyton's been loving it down here in South Florida this week to have Tennessee back in the spotlight in this breakthrough season. I think he was one of the first guys out there pregame, out on the field, so I'm out there with his son.
He was out there before the players, man.
It was Gerard Mincy, the left tackle, Greg, who was slow to get up after that last play. So Jeremiah Crawford comes in to replace him. He has split time at left tackle this year. 2nd and 6, Milton. As he quickly gets it to the outside, and it's complete again to Brew McCoy, the transfer from USC.
Nice route there and good timing. Just barely getting it off before Brian Brzee delivered a hit.
First down pass for Milton as he tries to keep it alive and struggles to get back to the line of scrimmage as a flag is down right in the middle of that offensive line.
Holding. Offense, number 75. 10-yard penalty. First down.
That's on Jerome Carvin, the left guard, who has only allowed 2 sacks in the last 3 seasons. First penalty of the game.
It's twice now that Carvin's gotten beaten inside. First time he gave up the sack, and that time he tugs a jersey. So he's going to have to be a little bit better, maybe not get as wide in his pass set, because that's twice now where the speed of Clemson's defense has been a problem.
Javontes Spraggins, the starting right guard, is walking off the field now for Coach Heupel's offense.
Now consecutive plays. Mincy 2 plays ago, and Spraggins. So 40% of your offensive line having to be replaced in consecutive downs.
Ollie Lanes comes in, number 78. First and 20 after the penalty. Milton as he goes underneath to Fant. Princeton Fant, their do-it-all offensive weapon. That's a 15-yard reception.
Just an excellent route here by Fant out of the stack alignment. Little option. give a shimmy, and for a big guy to be able to deliver a route like that, it's really nice.
Second down run by Small as he breaks free for another chain move for a first down for the Vols.
This is where the tempo starts to become real tricky for the opposing defense.
Look at how quick they are to the line. Snapping at 31 on the clock. Milton turns out of it as a row was in his face. Downfield, and a flag is down as it goes harmlessly incomplete. He was looking for McCoy.
Holding. Defense, number 5. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
That's KJ Henry, the outstanding defensive end.
This is the spot of the field where Tennessee likes to go heavy play action, then throw a post to one of their outside wide receivers. Here at the top of the red zone, right at the fringe, this is where you get a heavy play action and maybe just hit Brew McCoy right across the safety's face.
Milton on the run, and that was clogged up. That was DeMonte Capehart with the tackle of Joe Milton.
Clemson's defense is just so disciplined. To see Wes Goodwin, first full season, just an outstanding defensive mind, a guy that some in the industry call a savant.
Second and 8. Flag comes in as Milton runs to the near side. Jalen Phillips was able to track him down. Josh Heupel, who is back to the play calling duties as Alex Golish, who was the offensive coordinator, left to become the USF head coach.
Holding. Offense, number 53. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. Defense, number 33. After this is to the goal, automatic first down.
So Crawford the holding, but a the costly penalty. That'll make it a first down, Tennessee. As this Big Ten crew will walk it off. Cade Klubnik, the true freshman quarterback for Clemson, waiting his turn. Had 3 completions to open up the game before the failed fake field goal on 4th down. And now play number 8 on this drive for Tennessee. Small on first down. Nothing happening there at all. Henry and that defensive line collapsing on Jabari Small.
It does look like Gerald Mincey, the starting left tackle, is back in the game. So good news. And also Spraggins, who was out a couple plays earlier, he's back at right guard.
2nd and 10. Small trying to bounce it. And then a stiff arm inside the 10, and the extra leg drive will have him just shy of that line to gain. And Cater reports they just got eye drops, those 2 offensive linemen, before re-entering the game. 3rd and 2. Milton straight ahead as they get that push. Remember, Milton is 6'5" and just under 250 pounds, and yet another flag comes in late, all the way back at the 16-yard line.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct charged to the Tennessee head coach. His first of the game. 15-yard penalty. It'll be first and goal.
Josh Heupel tagged with the unsportsmanlike.
Let's take a look here at top right of your screen as you see Heupel down giving an earful to the official. I'm not sure what he was disgruntled about. Didn't seem like there was a whole lot there within the play to be frustrated by.
But that Big Ten official had a problem with it. And it's first down, marked all the way back at the 19-yard line.
Very critical penalty, obviously, as your offense has lost a lot of very important yards down here inside the red zone.
Milton to the end zone and caught for the touchdown, McCoy. Milton to Brew McCoy as he went over the true freshman corner, Jaden Lucas.
Just a thing of beauty on the design. That's the grab post, which opens up Brew McCoy on the double post to the outside. But look at how that safety reacts. He turns his shoulders and drives as Jacob Warren works across his face, which opens up one-on-one to the outside with a full head of steam. And the ball is absolutely perfect from Joe Milton.
Clemson themselves a little thinned out in the defensive backfield. Sheridan Jones, the starting corner, unable to go with an injury. So Joe Milton starting in place of the injured All-SEC quarterback Hendon Hooker. It's his turn. It's his time. And this is how he opens up his Capital One Orange Bowl. The strike to McCoy. 7-zip. Showdown between number 6 and number 7. Tennessee's Joe Milton moments ago, the 16-yard strike to Brew McCoy. 7-zip lead for Tennessee. Kaden?
You know, Tess, Joe Milton told me he was able to get his confidence back this season. He started trusting himself and his abilities. He had taken the fun out of the game, which is why he played the sport in the first place. His friendship with Hendon Hooker has certainly helped that. But Josh Heupel says as Milton's understanding of the offense has increased, he's been able to play freer and faster, which ultimately just allows you to enjoy what you're doing. And he's certainly enjoying himself thus far tonight.
Had to enjoy that last drive. Look at those numbers on the last drive, Greg.
The touchdown pass was just a thing of beauty.
Klubnik spins away from Shipley and comes back the other way to Davis Allen. Well executed play by Cade Klubnik and Clemson.
Eyes to the left, eyes back to the right, eyes to the middle. Everybody and their brothers running this play right now because Brock Purdy threw a touchdown on it a couple weeks ago, and it's so effective. You fake the screen to the left, you fake it back to the right, you sneak the tight end up the middle.
Allen goes for 11 yards there. Shipley motions back. Klubnik. He throws back shoulder as he's able to connect with Joseph Ngata.
See Brandon Streeter, the offensive coordinator, he's working with a very talented freshman class. Obviously, so much will be made of Klubnik, but I tell you what, Cole Turner and Antonio Williams, they're going to light some people up for quite a while here at Clemson.
Streeter's first year as the play caller. Tony Elliott left to become the head coach at UVA. Klubnik off of play action. A lot of time to wind it up. Takes a shot downfield, and the flag reins in as McCullough got tied up with Ngata.
Pass interference, defense, number 2, 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic first down.
And this ball was in the air for a very long time, but you see that left arm of McCullough clearly kind of drag Ngata down. Pretty well thrown football, just giving your guy a chance. Tough on the defense there, that's for sure, but a great call by the official.
15-yard penalty puts the ball at the Tennessee 37. Maffa with the carry. He's the big 230-pounder. As he came on with Shipley in the backfield. Goes ahead for 2 yards.
I think Maffa, obviously, more of a downhill guy. Shipley, a little more versatile, really a 3-down back in today's football. Maffa, more your traditional first and second down back, and obviously a guy that's going to excel in short yardage and at the goal line.
It's Tamarian McDonald. Plays that star position for Tennessee, who the trainers are out to see. We'll take a quick break as they tend to him.
Out to me in the ACC championship game, I noticed, I was like, is he not finding the laces? And that's exactly what he does. You talk to Brandon Streeter, he said he is very comfortable throwing the ball without the laces. Most quarterbacks there get plenty of time. In quick game, yes, you have to throw the ball without the laces from time to time. But when you have time, most quarterbacks want to catch and find the laces. But he was trained by one of the best high school coaches in America in Todd Dodge. And Cade Klubnik doesn't ever find him, just throws it how he catches it, and that creates a lot of consistency when he delivers the football.
2nd and 8, and now he's going to run it. And he is wrapped up and taken down by Tyler Barron. So he was coached by Todd Dodge at Westlake, Austin Westlake Power Program. But prior to that, I believe Todd Dodge was somewhere else.
Todd Dodge at Westlake, of course. And
he was your high school coach prior to that, Southlake Carroll.
Right.
But Westlake, of course, the great history.
Of course, yes. Southlake beat Westlake, I might add, in the 2007 state championship. So all you guys in Austin that are losing your mind right now, just remember, the Dragons reign supreme.
Texas high school football, it never ends. 3rd down and 9. Klubnik rolling right, looking for an option, running out of him, and then just shoved down by Byron Young. And another flag comes in. We've had too many of them here in this first quarter.
There is no foul for a low block in the play.
So the first team All-SEC defensive end voted by the coaches comes up big.
And just plays with relentless effort. And great job here. Chasing it down. Klubnik, of course, trying to keep the play alive, but that window is going to close very quickly when you have a guy like Byron Young in pursuit.
Well, Clemson is going to use a timeout here after they were stopped on 3rd down. Of course, tomorrow is the college football playoff semifinals on ESPN. Number 2 Michigan taking on number 3 TCU in the Verbo Fiesta Bowl. That comes your way at 4 Eastern. And then is the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl at 8 o'clock. Number 1 Georgia and number 4 Ohio State. Greg, if we are to have something funny go on with TCU tomorrow, how would they go about it?
I think everybody knows the path to success for Michigan, but here's the path of success for TCU. They have to stop the run. Good luck. That's tricky. You're playing the best offensive line in college football. You have to create favorable matchups. You have terrific weapons on the perimeter, and I think they have to create some short fields as well. TCU's excellent at being opportunistic. So they do those 3 things, they can punch their ticket possibly to the national championship.
This is a 55-yard attempt by Potter. He has made 4 from 52. He has the leg, but does he have the accuracy? It is off to the right. So they fake a field goal that gets stopped, and then a missed 55-yard attempt.
Now, I'm no kicking expert at all. You are, Tess. Your son, of course, a terrific kicker in college, but that looked like he got under that one a little bit. It just over-rotated.
That's what you often see with the over-rotation. By the way, though, he has the legs. Greg, he has 9 field goals over 50 yards in his career, so they have supreme confidence in Potter to give it an attempt. But this was from 55 yards. And to your point, a lot of rotation, and that is when you do get under the ball rather than that slower rotation that's going to get you more trajectory and lift and a better chance at making it.
So you just caught it a groove high on the wedge is what you're telling me?
As you would know. Here is Fant on 1st down, the tight end who has scored 8 touchdowns this season.
I think Fant, a little bit like Jabari Small, a very underappreciated part of this offense. Very physical in the run game, willing blocker, but also effective in space.
Jalen right now as he tries to get to the outside around Woodaz. Good pursuit by Clemson. Only 2 yards there. It'll be a 3rd down and 4 as R.J. Nickens was able to chase down Wright.
These 3rd and mediums so far from Clemson, they've really played some soft zone, and let's see if they maybe try to heat up Milton.
They go with Wright, and he goes nowhere. Wade Woodaz, just his 2nd career start with the tackle.
And they've been going with mostly zone coverage here early on. This time you see the guy running with the motion guy. That tells you man coverage. So they made a slight adjustment right there and brought a little weak side pressure. And they were able to drop the back in the backfield. Just an excellent call there by Wes Goodwin.
Paxton Brooks, starting punter for his 4th straight season for the Vols. As he launches away, Williams back on return, calls for the fair catch just around the 20-yard line. Tomorrow at noon on ESPN, it'll be the All-State Sugar Bowl. Number 5 Alabama taking on number 9 Kansas State. And that's Kansas State returning to a New Year's Six for the first time in a decade. A lot of people out there I hear saying, Alabama, when they get in these kind of situations, how much do they really want it? You say the opposite.
No, I think that we know Kansas State wants it. That's a seminal moment for the program. But I'm telling you, man, Bama is very upset about how this season went and just how close they were. I expect them to play well tomorrow morning.
What a fun day of college football tomorrow. You start your day that way, then you got the playoffs. Trying to wrap around the back was Ngata, and of course that's going to bring out the flag as Haddon tried to have coverage with him.
Pass interference, defense, number 5, 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic 1st down.
It's now 5 penalties for 55 yards on Tennessee.
An unbelievable release there by Ngata, just right around, little swim right around Haddon, and underthrown deep ball is going to draw the flag most of the time.
Maffa on the short pitch, able to keep his balance, and again making the most of it is Phil Maffa. Aaron Beasley finally was able to get to him.
I'm telling you, man, the more you watch Phil Maffa, the more you kind of start to fall in love with him. I mean, it's easy to love Shipley with how many different ways you can use him and how he can be in the slot and he can be an effective contributor in the passing game. But I'm telling you, man, Maffa is a tough runner and has surprising agility at 230.
Well, now they're in the backfield together. They fake the short pitch. Klubnik goes down to Shipley on the other side. And they are going to say that he was out of bounds.
Ooh, man, that was one heck of an effort there by Shipley. We just referenced him being able to contribute in the passing game. That right there, back shoulder, downfield on the wheel route, almost drags the toe. It looked like that right foot was on the line. This Big Ten officiating crew all over it. Great communication there by the back judge and the side judge. And they determined it was incomplete. But really, it's been good pressure so far put on Cade Klubnik from Tennessee. They keep getting unblocked defenders in the backfield time and time again.
3rd down and 3. Klubnik goes inside and gets it complete to Antonio Williams just beyond midfield. The true freshman who leads the team in catches.
He's electric now. I mean, he's got a lot. When I watch him, it's a lot of Amari Rodgers. Just great catch and run. He's probably never going to really live outside, but you put him in stacks and bunches and you motion him around. I mean, he is a really fun piece that you can use in a whole bunch of ways there on offense.
1st down run, Maffa. So he gets it to the 44-yard line.
It's part of the field. I might like to take a shot. And if I'm Brandon Streeter right here, as the clock is about to wind down.
Exciting first quarter here at the Capital One Orange Bowl. The veteran quarterback against the true freshman quarterback. Clemson rolled the dice early. Coach's son couldn't come up with it on speed option fake field goal. Tory, and so far no points to show for it. Start of the second quarter.
This would be a shot play for me. I mean, second and medium, you're on schedule. Heavy play action and work a one-on-one. I'd love to see a go ball right here.
Instead, Klubnik keeps it, makes a man miss. And look at the quick feet of Cade Klubnik.
A really nice read here. You watch the left end, Byron Young. He stays wide. Klubnik's watching him, and he takes it up inside. That's an excellent read, and of course, making the first defender miss.
Remember, he's a good athlete. Ran the anchor leg of the 4x400.
He's got some agility, too.
So a 12-yard run by Klubnik. And now he floats it up with a man in his face, and it falls incomplete.
Man, what a big hit by Wesley Walker, just coming off the left-hand side, blitzing from depth. And Jordan McFadden, the left tackle, just can't get out fast enough. And he delivers a shot.
Trayvon Flowers is out, starting safety for Tennessee. He was out last game too, but Walker has stepped in. Second and 10. Klubnik goes underneath. That is incomplete. Not a live ball, as Shipley did not hold on to it. Slaughter came in with the big hit. And then McDonald played the ball, but it is incomplete, so it'll be 3rd down and 10.
In this one, it looked like Klubnik kind of predetermined where he was going with the football. Shipley's out in the flat, and he's got Antonio Williams wide open, right in the middle of your screen, right there, wide open. Instead, he forces it to the outside as the flat defender condenses. He's got an easy completion if he gets his eyes back inside just for a half second.
3rd and 10. Trying to set up the screen to Maffa. Byron Young was pressuring again.
It's just a little bit of youth on display right there from the talented Klubnik. One play, if he gets hit, that's the first play. And the second play, he forces it into double coverage when he's got a wide open receiver that would have converted for a first down. And the third play, he didn't sell the screen enough and retreated too early and delivered a fastball that was uncatchable.
Otter back out there. Miss from 55, this from 49. And again, it stays to the right. Failed on a fake field goal, 2 missed field goals, and still a goose egg on the board for the ACC champions. Students to the Capital One Orange Bowl. Tonight they're picking up the tab for the students from each school so that the passionate fans could come cheer on the team. And tonight's game, Greg, it features the winners of the 2022 Live Ma Student Section of the Year, Tennessee's Rocky Top Rowdies.
Deserving. Anytime you throw a piece of goalpost into a river, that's usually a prerequisite for winning some postseason awards.
Oh, man. Back on October 15th, the thriller against Bama. Goalpost went for a tour of Knoxville. After the missed field goal, Joe Milton looking for the quick strike. Instead, he's got a whole lot of traffic, and he's got Brazee crashing down on him. Brian Brazee with the sack, his 9th of his career.
And this is Brazee working again against Carvin, the left guard. That's the 3rd time now that Carvin's been pushed to the outside and then beat inside. Protect inside out.
2nd and 18. It's Jalen Wright. Can't find anything. It's going to be 3rd and long. Brian Brazee, young man, has faced incredible grief this year. The loss of his sister Ella, her battle with cancer. And then Brian himself hospitalized mid-season. He's finally healthy and showing you what he can do at his best. 3rd down and 16. This time Milton with time. That big rocket launcher of an arm, and it's incomplete as he was trying to get it to Ramel Keaton. But Toriano Pride Jr., the true freshman, was staying with him.
Man, I told you, man, this kid could send it. But Toriano Pride, great job getting that left arm up, timing it perfectly, getting your eyes back inside. Keaton did a pretty good job of timing his jump. But that is extremely well defended by the freshman.
2nd straight 3 and out for Tennessee. Paxton Brooks to punt away. Chance for a return for Antonio Williams. Brooks back rotation, slight knuckler, which forces the fair catch at around the 34. What's going on, Katie?
Well, Tess, Cade Klubnik's going on. He is super poised and always calm on the sidelines. In between series, he sat down and Dabo Swinney came over and had a conversation with him. He said, you need to be patient with your eyes. You got to find him and deliver the ball. As he had that conversation, just nodded, locked in.
Yeah, it's just a great job by Dabo Swinney. He sensed, I think we all kind of did, that 3-play sequence where Klubnik just showed a little bit of youth, not much. You get hit by a blitzing safety, I would show some youth too, but you just got to settle him down. And Dabo Swinney in his 200th game, he's been here before. He knows how to do it, that's for sure.
34-yard line is their best starting field position. Klubnik, he is taken down again by Aaron Beasley.
And this is just great job right here. You're going to see this must be an automatic adjustment for Tennessee. When Clemson gets into empty, they're going to bring the middle linebacker. That's twice now that Beasley's gotten through and has dropped Klubnik for a sack. Great blitz and a great finish.
2nd and 17 after that. As Klubnik can go to reliable Davis Allen.
It was a nice job there by Klubnik and the offensive coordinator, Brandon Streeter. You're off schedule, you're way behind the sticks, get half of it back and see if you can't set up a more manageable 3rd down. That's exactly what they did with a high percentage completion on the slant to a big body, reliable tight end.
11 yards to Allen. Tennessee substituting that front. Third and 6. Klubnik taking a shot downfield on 3rd and 6 and gets the flag to come in as Cole Turner was wrapped up with Deshaun Rucker. Number 55 penalty yards against Tennessee in that 1st quarter. And Clemson's going to have a 1st down after this one.
Pass interference. Defense, number 28. 15-yard penalty. Automatic 1st down.
Another good call by this officiating crew. Just way too much contact. I mean, just completely all over Cole Turner. You got to turn around and at least try to make a play on the ball. As we referenced earlier, Tennessee in the back end a little bit short-handed. And Clemson, as a result, being very, very aggressive on the downfield passing attack.
66 penalty yards per game tonight. Already 70. Klubnik goes back against the grain to Williams. Blockers in front for Antonio Williams. And Williams makes the most of it on a well-designed play for Clemson as he goes for 25 yards.
It looks like Tyler Barron, number 9, as they were going in for the tackle, he kind of got his arm twisted in. This is just such a cool design. You fake the jet sweep, then you go all the way back to the right, get full flow. Look at all those Tennessee defenders running to the right to stay out in front of the quarterback, and then boom, you time it up beautifully. Klubnik throws a nice pass with blockers in front, And the most explosive weapon on the Clemson offense creates a big play.
Also, great sell job by Will Shipley. See him with his hands up, say, "Look, I'm here, I'm here."
I love it.
The opposite way to Williams. And now they go with a pass from Allen, the tight end, throwing it to the end zone, but incomplete as they were attempting to go tight end to tight end. Allen looking for Brenningstool.
You see Allen just tapping the helmets. It's my bad, bro. It's really well designed. It's perfect. You got the lefty rolling to his throwing arm. But Davis Allen, that one's going to haunt him. As someone that's missed plenty of throws into the end zone to wide open wide receivers, he's going to remember that one for a while, and the coaches will probably give him a little bit of a hard time in the film room tomorrow.
Second down, going nowhere, and it's Beasley again. Aaron Beasley is having a sensational first half.
I mean, so far, he might be the best player on the field. I mean, he is just all over the place. Showing great instincts, going straight after Klubnik on the mesh. Just really a bottled up play right there by the Tennessee defense. Another 3rd and long in the red zone. Difficult spot here for the Clemson Tigers.
All these drives into Tennessee territory and still trying to break through. 3rd and 13, pressure off the edge. Shipley picks it up, lofted downfield and incomplete on 3rd down. Bryson Eason on the other side was able to get that hit on Klubnik.
Yeah, Eason, another big blow on the interior of that Clemson offensive line. Putnam, the senior, matched up against the defensive tackle, and they got to do a better job. There's way too much leaking in the protection right now from the Clemson offensive line.
4th drive that Clemson lines up for a field goal. The missed fake, the missed 55-yarder, the missed 49-yarder, and now this from 42. And that is no good. B.T. Potter, the veteran, who is the first player in ACC history to score 100 points in 4 different seasons, cannot connect again. And it's still 7-zip. And Dabo thought it was good and found out it wasn't. You're watching the Capital One Orange Bowl. Offense.
And countless other examples in which Klubnik's having to throw off his back foot, or he's getting hit as he's thrown. We got to do a better job up front.
Milton, quick strike, soft coverage on the outside against McCoy, who lowers the shoulder and gives a little something for a first down against Makuba.
How about it? And Drew McCoy, 220 pounds. Just delivering the boom. Nicely done. I'd also say kind of a poor job of tackling there by Makuba as well.
Milton comes to the other side and goes to Keaton, and Keaton is wrapped up immediately that time by Pride. But let me tell you something about McCoy when I see a play like that, and then we've been dealing with opt-outs in the last week. And certain players that don't want to play in a game of this magnitude. That's effort. That's ball right there. Here's Squirrel White.
Like this offensive series so far from Tennessee. Just quick throws, getting the ball out of Joe Milton's hands quickly, and forcing Clemson's defense to try to cover the whole field from a width standpoint.
4-yard reception, first down now. Milton taking a shot downfield. He's got a man open. And it's into the arms of Squirrel White down at the 2-yard line. Oh, the squirrel got loose, and it's 1st and goal balls.
Tennessee might go quick so they don't take a look at it. But what a throw and what a catch.
50-yard reception, quick to the line, quick to snap. And Small takes it straight in for the touchdown. Milton to Squirrel White, and then Jamari Small comes up big. And let's go back and look at that dynamic effort by Squirrel White. Did he call it in fully?
Man, just unbelievable concentration, and he definitely reeled it in, and then Jabari Small pays it off with his big right guard, Spraggins, walking him in.
And McGrath puts it through. Joe Milton, 12 of 15, 149 yards. The touchdown earlier, and now the big strike to Squirrel White. His great-grandmother called him Squirrel when he was just a baby. Aquaris Malik White, only 165 pounds. And by the way, Ollie Lanes, who was in on PAT, who's a backup offensive lineman who did come in for a few plays earlier tonight. They're looking at his left leg. You mentioned it earlier, Joe Milton and his ability to just flick the wrist, and all of a sudden the ball was spun downfield.
Yeah, it was a thing of beauty, and it was really an incredible adjustment because the ball was thrown inside, and Squirrel White tracked it all the way to the middle and gave great effort laying out and reeling it in.
And he has no bigger fan as Joe Milton than his roommate and the SEC Offensive Player of the Year, Hendon Hooker. Katie.
Thanks, Tess. Hendon, it's great to be with you. What do you like about what you're seeing from your best friend Joe and that connection to Squirrel?
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. He's out there having fun, slinging it, doing what he does best. You know, he has a rocket for an arm, and as you can see, it's a beautiful thing.
I know your health is a top priority, but why was it so important for you to be here with your team this entire week in meetings and here on the sidelines?
Mm-hmm. Just so I can help out any way that I can. I always want to help out my teammates in time of need, and when it's game time, it's always encouragement and how can I lead. So being involved in meetings was a big part of that.
You've been a large part of Coach Heupel's success. Why has he been able to find success so quickly in his 2 seasons?
Mm-hmm. He's a great teacher, and he surrounds us by other great teachers, as Coach Hosley and Mitch Matello. So really just them teaching us and us being attentive and learning day in and day out has helped us succeed.
You're beloved in the college football community. What has your time meant at Tennessee?
Yeah, it meant a lot to me, my family. You know, them just embracing me and coming off a rough season that they had. All I wanted to do was just help and do what I could do in order to get Tennessee back to where they belong.
How has your rehab process been going?
It's great. It's great. The first day out, I was moving at 60% bend, and now I'm past 90. So I'm excited for my journey.
We're really glad to hear that, and we can't wait to watch where you land. Thank you so much for everything. It's been a pleasure covering your career.
Thank you for having me.
That's well said, Katie, and it has been, as Ollie Lanes continues to be looked at by the medical staff of Tennessee. He was injured on that PAT attempt. But Hendon Hooker, a great visit with Katie there. Greg, he had surgery 2 weeks ago in Los Angeles to repair the torn ACL, as Lanes is able to get to his feet and helped off the field. But the perspective on Hendon Hooker, an absolutely sensational season.
Just amazing. I mean, the fact that he wasn't in New York is an absolute joke.
It is.
It is. It's an absolute joke. You're going to tell me this guy isn't one of the top 4 players in America? I think you're crazy. It's as simple as that. I think he's that good. And the way he delivered in big moments, I think, is just terrific. I mean, taking this offense to a whole new level, being smart with the football, being able to push the ball down the field. But you saw there in his interaction with Katie, I got the chance to spend some time with him at SEC Media Days this past summer. He's an infectious personality. You just are drawn to the kid, and he's so highly cerebral. This is an offense that puts a lot on the quarterback's shoulders, and just really a joy to watch and cover. I couldn't agree with what Katie said more.
I thought what was most moving, guys, was when Josh Heupel said Hendon Hooker, who he is the fabric and cornerstones of who we are as a program. You know, Greg, you've played on championship teams. Heupel said coaches aren't a whole lot different from year to year. What separates those teams is the leadership within. You have to have someone who defines your message but also lives it every day in order for your program to grow. That's Hendon Hooker. They wouldn't be here tonight in Miami if it weren't for him.
And it's a message of perseverance, too. Remember, this was a guy that got beat out prior to the 2021 season and got his opportunity because of an injury to Joe Milton in the second game of the year and never looked back.
Here's Will Shipley taking it out from the end zone. Shipley with a good return for Clemson. As it was Paxton Brooks, the kickoff specialist and punter, who was the first to get to Shipley. And just to wrap up the conversation on Hooker, listen, he's here on crutches, surgery a couple weeks ago. Past couple weeks, he was zooming into the quarterback meetings. He's an all-in team guy, a leader. And as you said, Travis Dee was in New York as a Heisman finalist, SEC Offensive Player of the Year by the coaches and by the Associated Press. He only threw 2 interceptions in 329 attempts this season to get his team in position to rise up to #1 in the country. All right, back to business for Clemson and Cade Klubnik, the true freshman, making his first career start. As Maffa will take it ahead, and there's that power of Phil Maffa at 230 pounds as he took Page for a ride out to the 46-yard line.
I think this drive really needs to be about both Phil Maffa and Will Shipley. You got to take the pressure off of Cade Klubnik. So far, Tennessee's been able to pin their ears back and rush the passer because the running game really hasn't been committed to at this point. Take the pressure off your freshman and see if you can't challenge that offensive line to run the football.
And you see the success it brings them right there with the commitment to it with Maffa. Already past midfield.
Again, like Herb Brooks. Again. Right downhill.
And now they pass off of it. It's tipped and nearly caught by Williams. He stayed with it and nearly came up with the reception.
Just an RPO this time. They have a run play called inside. You see that vacated space to the right, but it was a great job there by Herring, who read the quarterback pulling it out of the belly of the back on the RPO, stopping his rush immediately, throwing his hands to the north and getting a piece of that football.
Shipley comes back into the game. He only has 5 yards on 3 carries, this time out of the backfield, as he's able to use the block on the outside. He's done that before, just as Louisville high hurdling and going ahead, and that will move the chains as he went over Slaughter.
How about it?
He is dynamic, isn't he?
He really is.
15 yards after the catch, a first down for Clemson. Play action, Klubnik. He's going to tuck and run, and Klubnik didn't slide down and hadn't drove him back. Well, we mentioned what Will Shipley did against Louisville. How about this, Craig?
Yeah. Maybe don't hit him low. Look at this. I mean, just unbelievable. Splits the defense. And as you see Travis Etienne, the all-time great Clemson running back, loving what he's seeing. Shipley going aerial again. It's a great player, man. Just a terrific football player.
2nd and 2. Maffa behind Klubnik. Klubnik pulls it. And Klubnik will have the first down. And consider all these drives that have come into Tennessee territory. 5 drives, no points so far. In position, haven't been able to come up with some critical 3rd downs, and then the special team miscues.
Commit to running it. Still, stay on the ground. It's working.
Klubnik on first down. He's going to check down underneath as he goes to Turner. And Beasley was quick to get on top of it. Aaron Beasley's been so active in this first half.
You see E.T. Potter looking on. You know, he's done so much in his career, but I'm almost tempted at this point, after 3 missed field goals, 2 to the right, or 1 short, 1 to the right, 1 to the left. I'm almost tempted at this point, or maybe every drive is 4-down territory.
2nd and 11. Shipley's in the slot to the right of Klubnik. Now they motion him back, and they're going to run Klubnik off of it. And Klubnik takes it inside the 15-yard line. It'll be 3rd down from there. Jim McCullough with the tackle of Cade Klubnik. They're down and 5, and remember, they are in that part of this stadium as you see his parents, Kim and Todd, looking on. Cade Klubnik, the true freshman starter, that is surrounded by Tennessee fans as well as the band. They're going right into the pride of the Southland in this direction for 3rd and 5. Klubnik, 3rd down. They pick up the pressure. He's all the way back to the 35-yard line as he had to toss it away.
They are going to go for the field goal. Just goes to show you, I mean, Dabo Swinney has so much faith in BT Potter, and understandably so, been so good for him for so long. But that was an excellent response by the Clemson offense. Just got to continue to play better in the red zone. Still don't know why they decide to throw it that many times as the field started to condense.
5th time lining up for a field goal attempt. 3 misses and a failed fake. And this just sneaks through from 31 yards. And with that, he ties the Clemson record of 72 career field goals. The hold of Swinney, the kick of Potter, and he says, finally, I'm back to being myself. And Dabo Swinney's team is on the board here in the Capital One Orange Bowl, 14-3 Tennessee. Tested and game ready. Are you ready for the road? Goodyear, more driven. Joe, Greg, and Katie with you here in South Florida. 14-3 Tennessee on top of Clemson. There's Williams on the return. And he's driven back behind the 20. Well, Joe Milton, you saw that flick of the wrist a little earlier to Squirrel White. How about this flick of the wrist? The viral video of tossing an actual orange before the Orange Bowl back at their practice facility. The distance of the field and beyond, Greg, as it splatters against the back wall.
It's ridiculous. I mean, I'm not kidding when I say this. The best arm I've ever seen is Jamarcus Russell. Milton doesn't take a back seat by much, if at all. And you see, I mean, just effortless. Moving, just flicks his wrist and it travels 60 yards. It's just unbelievable the velocity he can throw the football with.
And now here's Small on the swing pass. Jabari Small, who's been the workhorse at times this year, especially against LSU. Went for 127 yards, a couple touchdowns, and that beat down of the Tigers. 4 yards there. Milton, plenty of time. Another flick of the wrist, another toss way downfield, and incomplete. And the flag does come in as he was looking for Keaton.
I don't think there was a flag.
There wasn't.
Thrown. Thought initially, I don't know.
Initially, that was the reaction.
Out of his pocket or what? No, it seemed like it was pretty good coverage. Obviously, behind the defense, ball's a little late, which allows Pride the opportunity to catch up. And I actually think it's a good no call. There's a little contact. The Pride turns his head inside, trying to make a play on the football, makes a little contact, but ultimately, I'm okay with keeping the flag in your pocket right there.
Good coverage by Toriano Pride Jr. 3rd down and 6. Milton tried to go back to Keaton, and it's incomplete. And a good job by the Clemson defense.
Good job there by the Clemson defense, but that one just off the mark. Keaton, if that ball's thrown up around the chest level, he would have run right through it and would have had the conversion. But either way, good stand from Clemson.
So Paxton Brooks, the senior veteran punter who's 6th all time in Tennessee history in yards per punt average, out to boot it away again. And Williams the fair catch inside the 30. Cade Klubnik and the Clemson offense. He entered the game on her 3rd possession. He was 20 of 24, 279 yards. Started red hot. Started the game 10 for 10. And one of the most valuable players winning the ACC championship game, coming off the bench, and now the true freshman making his first career start here tonight in the Capital One Orange Bowl.
And he's doing fine. They really just need to help him out. They got to be a little bit more committed to the run game. They did that on the last drive. And they also got to do a better job of protecting, because he's taken a lot of hits tonight from Tennessee defenders.
Keeps it, pulls it from Maffa, and makes a good decision to slide down. Boy, he does have a quick burst, doesn't he, Greg?
He is. He can run. There's no doubt. I mean, he's probably not a guy that you want to have because of his size. I mean, he's under 200 pounds. He's getting closer, but as he gets a little bit more physically mature, he can handle a heavier load running the football. But ultimately, if he gets out in the open field, he's a problem.
10-yard run. First down pass now as he goes with the outs, and trying to juggle it there was Ngata, and yes, he does haul it in. So Joseph Ngata with the reception for Clemson.
I'd also like to see Clemson maybe utilize a little bit of tempo. When you're using tempo, you kind of eliminate the thought process. You don't overanalyze. I'd like to see him just kind of play with a little bit more urgency in the final moments here of the second quarter, and then some of the time in the second half.
They're going to review that catch by Ngata. As you saw, he was struggling for firm control on the sideline.
Ball kind of wobbled just a little bit. Of course, it was called a catch on the field, so there has to be indisputable video evidence beyond all doubt to overturn. Great job by the defenders staying with it. Man, the ball's moving, but I still feel like he's definitely in play. I feel like he has it secured.
Let's bring in our rules expert, Matt Austin. Matt?
From what I see, I think he is still bobbling it as he goes out of bounds, but is it clear and obvious? It looks like it's still moving the whole way when that knee hits in the white. I would like to see this as an incomplete pass.
Rolling on the field was a complete pass for 8 yards to Ngata. Matt Austin, longtime SEC referee, and our longtime rules expert, saying didn't feel like there was complete control as that knee hit.
After review, it's an incomplete pass. Second down, 43-yard line.
So they're going to wipe it away.
That was just a great job there by Kamal Hatton, just staying with it. Looked like he was going to give up an easy completion to the outside, but he continued to fight and got that arm in there and continued to tug at the ball, which ultimately forced it to wiggle as Ngata was going out of bounds.
Now bring it back to the 38-yard line. 2nd and 10. So Maffa remains in the game as the running back, flanking Klubnik. Tennessee comes with a cat blitz off the edge, and that's the direction that Klubnik smartly goes to as Ngata breaks free. So they came with the cat blitz. Klubnik read it, got it out to Ngata.
And this is really well done by Cade Klubnik. You're going to see him point to it. Look, oh, hey, here he comes. Take a peek. He knows exactly where that zone is going to void. Throws right into it on the corner cat adjustment. And Ngata does a great job after catch. Great recognition there by the freshman.
That's what you want to see with the evolution and development of a young quarterback, and he picked it up right away. And now past midfield, extending the play, and then shows you the arm talent to the end zone. Incomplete. He was trying to connect with Cole Turner. And D'Amico Slaughter was there with him.
And this is just late right here from Cade Klubnik. You're going to see the out and up to the top, out, and then up. And right here, if he's even, the rule is he's leaving. That ball's got to be in the air right now, because if you throw it just a half second late, that free safety is going to get up over the top, and the corner that's beat is going to recover just late on the double move that could have been a touchdown.
2nd and 10. Klubnik, ball falls to the ground. as it was right in front of Jalen McCullough, who thought perhaps he was going to have a pick.
Well covered there by Beasley. His Brenningstool can't quite reel it in. I mean, Beasley's doing it all tonight. Blitzing, covering. Linebackers having himself a day. Big down here for the Clemson offense.
Tennessee has traveled well, and you hear it on critical third downs. They're 2 of 7 on third down as Clemson. 3rd and 10 with the Tennessee fans roaring. Klubnik steps up, nearly was able to get it to Spector, but just lofted too much on it.
And just another example in which just a little bit late from Klubnik. It's really good movement in the pocket. Feels that backside pressure, moves up, steps up, throw it right now. You don't have to continue to move. If you just throw it right there as you're sitting and you're starting to see Spector come to the green grass to the left-hand side, that ball's got to come out. You see, I mean, it's just the processing, the physical ability with Cade Klubnik is off the charts. It's just the processing and getting through progressions is still very much a work in progress, like it should be as a true freshman.
This is Aiden Swanson's first punt of the evening, and did they save it? Touchback. Swanson nearly landed this.
Very, very close. As you can see, that ball's in the end zone. It's great effort. Great effort there. Trying to save it, but if the ball crosses the plane, it's going to be a touchback. Different rule than the NFL, so great effort, but an unfortunate break there.
Want to remind you that in just a couple minutes, we will have the Mercedes-Benz halftime report with Kevin Nagandi, Joey Galloway, Jesse Palmer. Of course, they will get you set for the college football playoff national semifinals, preview both games, and get you up to speed with what happened with Notre Dame. Outstanding game earlier today against South Carolina, and that thrilling comeback. All the happenings from Atlanta with that crew. Is in position for Georgia and Ohio State tomorrow. Jalen Wright, he's able to turn the corner. Wright, who led the team in rushing yards. Considered the fastest of the 3 primary running backs who get the playing time. He goes ahead for 10 yards. Milton pulls it, and Milton is taken down immediately by Wade Woodaz.
Great play there by Woodaz. Milton thought that he was going to collapse and run, which would have given him a lot of space, but Woodaz read out of it and did a really nice job.
Woodaz getting more and more playing time. Trenton Simpson, the outstanding hybrid nickel linebacker, opted out, dealing with an injury, turning pro. Woodaz steps up. 2nd and 14. Milton quickly to the outside to squirrel White. And White drives ahead for a few yards. It'll be 3rd down as Makuba and Wiggins combine for the tackle.
Yeah, timeout. Looks like Clemson's going to burn one here, see if they can't preserve some clock. See if they can't put one together here, if they can get off the field on 3rd and long.
1:52 before halftime. Clemson will have 1 timeout, and we will remind you that tomorrow at noon on ABC, it's the TransPerfect Music City Bowl, Iowa against Kentucky. Great day of football tomorrow. We got Bama and K-State. And then the Fiesta Bowl gets the college football playoff started with Georgia and TCU, and then, with TCU and Michigan. And then we will be headed up to Atlanta, Georgia, to be part of everything going on between the Buckeyes and the #1 team in the nation. What would shock you tomorrow?
I would actually be really surprised if both games got out of hand. We've talked about this.
That's a good. We like hearing that, by the way.
Right?
We've had so many blowouts when it comes to the college football playoff.
Many blowouts as it pertains to these semifinal games, and the matchups, for whatever reason, just sometimes have not been great. I really think both games tomorrow have a chance to go the distance. I really do. I know on paper and I know in Vegas they might feel differently, but I really think these teams match up pretty well against each other and can expose a couple weaknesses.
So here's an opportunity for the Clemson defense. They use the timeout, facing a 3rd and 8 as Tennessee. Clemson looking for the stop here. Milton can't find anything. Great job up front by the Tigers, Davis and Brazee. And Dabo Swinney managed that well, because now they do have that opportunity, and they will use that timeout.
And just a good job here. As you can see, kind of a busted play there. The offensive line is running off to the right, and Milton is having to deal with Davis in the backfield, which is never going to be advantageous for the quarterback. It's kind of a rough sequence there from Tennessee on 2nd and 3rd down. Good stop from Clemson. Try if they can't, see if they can't put something together here and work into a little bit of a rhythm offensively.
Cade Klubnik will get his opportunity. 1:47 before halftime. As Tennessee will be punting away with Paxton Brooks, his 5th punt of the afternoon. See if Antonio Williams gets the opportunity for a return. It is a sky punt. A fair catch just inside the 30-yard line. Tonight's Capital One rewarding performance, Greg, the Tennessee defense in this first half.
They have been relentless in their pursuit, and really been a nice job so far from Tim Banks, the defensive coordinator. They have delivered time and time and time again in hitting Cade Klubnik in the backfield. The offensive line's done kind of a poor job, frankly, in some one-on-ones, and they've got some unblocked defenders that are constantly forcing the ball out of Klubnik's hands quickly. So it's been a really nice design so far defensively from Tim Banks, with a group that is extremely aggressive.
Tim Banks, who was the co-defensive coordinator at Penn State for 5 years, and now leading this defense. That's number 2 in the SEC in tackles for loss. Klubnik gets it complete to Davis Allen to start this sequence. So let's see what the true freshman comes up with here with no timeouts and 1.5 minutes to deal with. If he can cut into this Tennessee lead. Safety pressure off the edge. He looks the other way and he gets it to Ngata, who turns the corner just in time on the defensive back who was closing on it.
And how about the ball placement too? I mean, throwing it away from the defender. When you throw a hitch, you got to hit him on the downfield shoulder. He throws it away from the defender. Look at it, hits Ngata right there on the left shoulder, the left pec. It's right where you need to throw it on target with a collapsing defender. But my goodness, that was almost to the house the other way.
That was McCullough who was breaking on it. Getting a glimpse of what has everybody so excited about the future of Cade Klubnik. But it's about the now. Here in prime time, in the Orange Bowl. And should have had that, could have had that, as he was trying to get it to Brenningstool.
Would have been a good catch from Brenningstool. Ball dove just a little bit on Klubnik. You see that nose down. Didn't come out of his hand great, and Brenningstool can't go down and corral it. Would have been a great catch.
Only once this year were they held without a touchdown, and that was the loss against Notre Dame. Trying to remedy that here tonight. Klubnik extending the play, and now is going to run it. And he's able to make a move to the outside. He is shifty, he is athletic, he is fast. Stops the clock with 67 seconds remaining. Him and Todd look on. They had a tough go of it this week with the travel to get here to see their son. And now they're up on their feet. A little anxious, but encouraging. 3rd down and 3. Third and 3, shovels it to Shipley, and Shipley's going to get it and more. Clock will stop for a moment as they move the chains.
Great job by Shipley there. It was not well blocked by Walker Parks. He kind of got lost. But Shipley made it happen anyways.
Klubnik quick outs, and he's able to connect with Turner. The true freshman's doing a good job of managing things here in the final minute.
Sometimes here in a 2-minute operation, you're getting more simplified defensive looks and you're playing in a more simple package. So oftentimes freshmen excel in situations like this.
And he hits the slant to Randall, and that's a first down. 34 seconds remaining. Clock stops momentarily to move the chains. No timeouts remaining for Clemson. And he will clock it. 31 seconds remain. It's a nice drive from Klubnik, Greg.
Very, very nice. And a good job using the clock operation there. After the first down, you would love to maybe throw a fade ball to the end zone so you can have that extra down. Now you have 2 downs to obviously go 10 yards. So would love to have saved that down and see if you couldn't get a play called quickly. Now, if it was down in the teens or something like that, that's where I'd want to preserve the clock. But here, I think they had enough time to probably get a play called and see if they can't take a shot towards the end zone.
Game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
We'll get pushed back to the Tennessee 18-yard line. Had 9 combined penalties in this first half.
It's not often you see a delay a game in a 2-minute operation. The first time I'm seeing that, just kind of lost track right there
after clocking the ball. Klubnik shakes free. Got to be mindful of the clock in a situation like this now as he gets back inside the 15-yard line. And it is third down.
Now, do they want to run a play or they want to clock it? I think you got time for a play. You're okay.
13 seconds, 12 seconds. Here's the snap. Third down. And he's going to be brought down with no timeouts remaining by Tyler Barron. And Dabo knows sometimes you got the true freshman who flashes and looks like the next great thing. And then sometimes you just got a true freshman. And that is the way it ends. Clemson 7 drives in the first half. 7 things well on that last drive until those last 2 plays, but he will get the chance here as they receive the second half kickoff to start things off.
And a great teachable moment there at the end of the half. I mean, just situational awareness. It's totally understandable. But hey, that's in the past. Now focus on the task at hand and see if you can't showcase some of the adjustments you made at halftime to have a great first drive of the second half.
It's a bouncer that is fielded at the 12-yard line. As Maffa takes the return, check in with Katie.
Greg, you should be a coach. That's exactly what Dabo Swinney told me coming out of the locker room. That was a teachable moment with Cade Klubnik. He said he's a rookie. He's made a couple of critical errors. He said he's taken sacks when he needs to just throw it away and keep us alive. He said the difference in the game right now, we haven't gotten the payday for all of the work that we put in. 3 missed field goals, a botched situation at the end of half. He said we have to finish in the red zone. But he says, I love that the way that these guys are competing, in particular, Cade Klubnik.
Katie, reminds me of what Dabo said to us the other day when we asked him about Klubnik as he opens up this second half with a completed pass. And as he gets it to Ngata, and Greg, he turned to us and said, listen, the kid's going to have a really long career ahead of him. I just want him to have fun with this week, with this game, and understand this game is not going to define his college football career. Sometimes you can make things just a little too big. Just be comfortable out there.
Yeah, just live in the moment and execute, right? And part of what Katie just said, hey, maybe holding the ball a little too long. He's just trying to make plays, but not every play needs to be a home run. Just take what the defense gives you.
7-yard completion, and now they keep it on the ground as he goes with Shipley, and it'll be third down and just about a half a yard. Eason had the tackle of Will Shipley.
I do think that Shipley needs to be more involved in the second half, whether it be through the air or on the ground. But just 4 carries there in the first half. They got to get their best weapon offensively involved.
As they do here, and you see him spinning to the 49-yard line for a first down, tackled by McCullough. And consider how many times they have crossed the 50-yard line as they are right on the edge of doing that again. 36 plays in Tennessee territory in that first half. 36 and no touchdowns to show for it.
It's really a remarkable stat. I mean, it is amazing.
Shipley again, and here goes Will Shipley, and now maybe he is finding his gear. It's a first down for Clemson, finally chopped down by McCullough.
And part of that is going to happen, and just kind of working some zone reads there towards the end of the first half. There were a couple examples in which Klubnik pulled it on the zone read because they were collapsing on Shipley. Now they're staying wide, and the give read is there.
Klubnik keeps, and Klubnik will work his way to the 31-yard line.
Similar play there, just an inside zone read. And man on the line of scrimmage collapses, you pull it, and you set up second and short. I don't know why you'd go away from it if you're Brandon Streeter, the offensive coordinator. Just continue to try to pound the football.
2nd and 3, Shipley being very patient and then able to move the chains again. You mentioned Brandon Streeter's first year as the offensive coordinator. He was elevated from being the quarterback coach.
He's done a pretty good job, of course, with DJ Uiagalelei's inconsistencies. The offense has been a little up and down. But now he's got a talented young quarterback to work with.
DJ, of course, was the starting quarterback the last couple of years, replaced in the ACC championship game by Klubnik, as Shipley is taken down this time by Slaughter. DJ's off to Oregon State, but he graduated from Clemson. That's a point of great pride for Dabo Swinney and everybody around the program.
And DJ, for all the inconsistencies on the field, he was a bedrock personality and leader in the locker room, and I know everybody at Clemson will always love DJ Uiagalelei for everything he did there in South Carolina.
2nd and 8. Maffa, as he goes ahead for 3 yards.
You know, Cade said that DJ opened his arms to him when he arrived. He was selfless, encouraging, willing to teach Klubnik as they push one another for the starting job. Klubnik said he thinks that's rare in the college game when an older guy, a direct competitor, takes a younger guy under his wing and is willing to help him. Cade said he's better for it, and he plans to return the favor for the next guy coming in.
We had 2 quarterback rooms here with these 2 teams that have benefited from that. We heard from Hendon Hooker earlier, detailing a relationship with Joe Milton. 3rd down and 5. Klubnik. Flag comes down as Klubnik just has to launch it away. All these possessions for Clemson where they drive deep enough and then come up with these critical 3rd downs that don't go their way.
This is a tricky one here. You're going to probably have a hold on Jordan McFadden, number 71. But do you go to 4th down, or do you take the penalty and potentially make the field goal harder, but you give them another chance on 3rd and 15?
Offense number 71. Penalties decline. 4th down.
And a good job by Tyler Barron, the edge rusher, able to get that edge against McFadden.
For the most part, pretty good opening drive for Clemson. You could see the commitment to the run game. Clearly, it was a point of emphasis at halftime to say we got to get the running backs more involved. Shipley responded beautifully there, and Klubnik did a pretty good job. Now BT Potter's got to pay it off.
This from 40. He had just made from 31 after such a rough start to the game. And he's able to put this through. And it's back to a possession game. 14-6 now. It's been a hold your breath moment on special teams for Clemson. But BT Potter, the 5th-year senior, led by Goodyear, celebrating the challenge of road games everywhere. Are you ready for the road? Goodyear, more driven. This Tennessee offense, Greg, of course, #1 scoring offense in the country at over 47 points per game. #1, 538 yards per game. They got 14 on the board now and 191 total yards as they're set to get the ball here in this second half for the first time. Clemson just had the field goal on their first possession of the second half. Sampson from the 1-yard line. he is met at the 25.
Joe Milton really had a nice first half. I mean, made some great throws, 13 of 18, 155. This first touchdown pass on the double post to Brew McCoy in the back of the end zone, off the charts good. And then you see the flick of the wrist, and Squirrel White runs right underneath it. He is a really talented young man. I mean, really, really talented. The problem is his arm is so strong, it almost does him a disservice from time to time because there's a lot of long foul balls. That hasn't been the case tonight. He's been very accurate and very decisive.
He's been very good on play action. You saw that line below. He's 9 of 10 on play action. That's batted at the line of scrimmage and then falls incomplete. And as Toriano Pride was trying to break on it.
I do think for Josh Heupel, it's going to be important to involve his backs a little bit more. Kind of quiet in the first half. There's Jabari Small, and Jalen Wright had a couple of things out to the outside, but man, there really hasn't been anything between the tackles. Most of the damage has been done outside the tackles. Love to see Tennessee commit a little bit more to that downhill run game.
Jabari Small goes ahead for 2 yards here. So that makes for a 3rd down and 8. And Milton incomplete, as he couldn't get it to Jacob Warren, who was just beyond the stick. You see Brian Brzee coming off the field with that defense doing their job again.
Now this is really nice from Clemson's defensive front. You got 5 defensive linemen on 5 offensive linemen. That's called 5-0. So every single offensive lineman's on an island. So what does Clemson do? They do a bunch of twists and try to create picks amongst the offensive linemen to force the quarterback out of the pocket. That was nice design to get the offensive line in one-on-one blocking situations. It's going to be tough to hold up against those 5 pass rushers.
Nearly got to Brooks. As Williams with the fair catch. 4th Tennessee 3 and out. Their 6th punt. Quick break and Clemson back. They're trailing by 8 now.
As a true freshman has been well documented, but Dabo Swinney says Klubnik plays with so much fire. He's high energy and it's contagious. I asked Cade, what are your greatest strengths? He said, my 2 greatest strengths, leadership and energy, and it's been on display on the sideline here for Clemson. Let's see if it transfers to the field.
Everybody we've talked to in the lead up to this game, Katie, has said that. He's just so fiery, so intense, never stops. And there you see Kim and Todd, his parents, from Austin, Texas. Their oldest son, Reed, was a great role model for Cade. He was a record-setting wide receiver at Yale for head coach Tony Reno. Young Cade Klubnik, true freshman. First career start comes in a spot like this. Number 6 against number 7 in prime time in the Capital One Orange Bowl. Shipley. Nothing was there as Slaughter was waiting on him.
It's obvious that Shipley is all points bulletin at halftime to get him involved, but I would not recommend trying to run outside against this Tennessee defense. If you look at just their team speed, particularly at the second level, and do a really good job of leveraging the football, it's really hard to capture the edge against the Volunteers.
And they're without 2 of their fastest defensive players, Jeremy Banks and Trayvon Flowers. Here's Maffa on 2nd and 9, and once again that closing speed to the edge as they were able to pursue down the line. Joshua Joseph, the true freshman. He has an 82-inch wingspan. He was able to force out Maffa. 3rd down and 8.
Let's see what Brandon Streeter dials up. I like the matchup that they can create in the slot with number 84, Davis Allen. He's got so much length. I'd be looking in this direction if I'm Cade Klubnik.
6'6" tight end playing in his last game for Clemson. 3rd down and 8. Does he look that way? Klubnik taken down from behind by Young.
Just a great edge rush here defensively from Tennessee. You see the speed up field from Byron Young, and he just is able to get around Blake Miller, the freshman, and drop Cade Klubnik on a critical third down. Just great speed, being able to run the loop there for the sack.
That's the first 3 and out for Clemson tonight. Came after Swanson. May have gotten a piece of it just based on the flight of that ball, but it takes a Clemson bounce. Does it ever? Well, Tennessee came up big defensively. Their 4th sack. Did they get a piece of this here? They went Superman. Maybe a finger just touched that ball. Flag is down at the 30-yard line.
Great effort, and you see the center judge there in the back. He indicated that the ball was deflected. Not sure what the flag was for. It was really, really late. Almost like it was after the play.
It's Ben Bolton who was diving in on special teams. Josh Heupel, who was flagged himself earlier tonight. Well, you saw at the end of that punt, there was that moment where the Clemson player slapped the ball forward. I don't know if that's what possibly they were flagging. It's in the special teams unit saying, hey, Ben, you went after it there.
If the flag is for him batting the ball a little bit further, that's ridiculous. I don't think that's going to be what it is. Got to be something else. It was harmless enough, at least it seemed, but either way, they're definitely trying to discuss exactly what went down.
Big Ten crew led by Ron Snodgrass. This is the end of the play.
See the beanbag come out, indicate where the ball was touched. Not sure what else there was beyond that, and there really wasn't a reaction by either team.
So this matchup of quarterbacks who weren't the starters for the season. Cade Klubnik, 211 yards, 19 of 13. Milton, 13 of 20, 155 yards and a touchdown. But the contrast in terms of total plays, 65 to 39 Clemson, and yet trailing by 8.
Spot of the illegal touching is the optimal spot, first down.
That's where Tennessee will take possession. This record-breaking Tennessee offense, #1 in the country in scoring. But without Jalen Hyatt, the unanimous first-team All-America wide receiver, the Biletnikoff Award winner, who opted out. And, of course, without Hendon Hooker, who suffered the torn ACL back on November 19th. Joe Milton, the starting quarterback, and his program moving forward. And here is Milton. And he gets this complete for a first down as Hendon Hooker cheers him on, and Keaton has the reception.
Nice throw there, working the middle of the field. So much of this Tennessee offense is built working the middle of the field, and a nice throw in stride.
To the outside he goes to Squirrel White, who is immediately wrapped up by Makuba. Makuba himself's been battling through injuries this year, had a dislocated elbow. Second down, Milton with blockers in front, and Milton's going to take it for a first down on that quarterback run.
Looked like Clemson kind of underestimated the speed of Joe Milton right there as he kind of captured the edge.
I think you're right, but KJ Henry, who's such a critical part of this Clemson defense, is down and writhing in pain.
Season long by giving them free tickets to the biggest bowl games of the year.
Jabari Small with no gain on that run. But this time Small finds the hole and a flag is down back at the 47-yard line.
Holding. Offense, number 75. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
And that's why it's easy to find a hole if you're Jabari Small. That's on Carbon.
Just kind of tugged the jersey, but it didn't look like the hold needed to happen. It looked like Small was already through the hole. It really didn't have any impact on the play itself. Just unfortunate there for Jerome Carbon and the Tennessee offense.
2nd and 21. Big Brian Brzee in that defensive line. They've had some great moments tonight. Can they find a stop here halfway through this third quarter? Here's Milton. He's got tons of time, and he drives the ball, and it is batted away by Nate Wiggins. Wiggins, who had a huge moment in the ACC championship game, a 98-yard pick six.
Man, really close here, just unlucky. If you're Joe Milton, you throw a very accurate throw, trying to work Keaton on the in-breaking route. Keaton stopped, though, and kind of slipped as he was coming out of his break.
3rd and 21.
Watch the pressure here, and looks like maybe Clemson will adjust, but watch for this blitzer. If he gets up there close, that could be a guy that could overload the protection.
They got both safeties coming off the edge. Milton steps up, gets free of it. But then tracking him down and bringing him down is Barrett Carter. Great play for Clemson. And that is the 4th sack of the night for the Tigers.
And Milton just ran out of time. They went with a 7-man protection, anticipating pressure. But as soon as Milton left the pocket, it triggered the green dog, and they drop him for a loss.
Only 7 punts now for Tennessee. Just under 6 minutes to go in the third. Clemson with the ball back when we return to South Florida.
But you want to win the week.
Oh, yeah.
So if there's a competition to be had, I don't care if it's a dance competition or if it's a fits competition, whatever it is, I want to win. I think if you approach it that way, man, you'll have some of the best trips of your life when you go to some of these bowl destinations.
We spent a lot of time at Clemson and Tennessee this week, and I think both teams say, you come down here to Capital One Orange Bowl, you're going to have a good time. You're going to eat well, you're going to get the sun, you're going to get the fun. Shipley, as he gets it ahead for a gain of 8 yards.
That, I think, is going to be the recipe. Just kind of the downhill zone read by Shipley. Nothing around the edges. That's playing into Tennessee's strength.
2nd and 2. Klubnik keeps it and is able to move the chains.
At some point, too, Klubnik's an excellent deep ball thrower. You go with that heavy ride, and then you turn it into a play action, and you can see if you can't catch those safeties sleeping with their eyes in the backfield and throw it over their head.
This is Shipley again. Shipley, who, by the way, a 4.0 GPA and was named Academic All-American. Brother James plays lacrosse, Ivy League lacrosse at UPenn. Second and 5. There's that ride, there's that pull, but he's looking to run it to the outside. And just for a moment, he got past McCullough before he was tied up.
Looks like Tennessee defender a little slow to get up. That's Walker. But he's okay.
3rd and 2 for Clemson and the true freshman quarterback.
Luke Price in the game, number 40. Heavy package from Clemson here in short yardage.
Shipley on 3rd and 2, and Shipley will have another first down for the Tigers.
Now this would be the down right here. Fresh set, approaching the 50-yard line. This would be the down where I'd go heavy play action and see if I can't throw it over the top. I'd try to hit Antonio Williams, who's located in the slot down here. I'd try to hit him on a vertical double move right up the hash on a deep ball.
Klubnik goes to the other side and is able to come back to Brenningstool. And Brenningstool with blockers in front. And a good play for another first down. And now Clemson's in business again.
Nice job, too, on the left side by Jordan McFadden. He gets a piece of the defender, which allowed Brenningstool to get up inside and make a nice run after catch.
Right guard Walker Parks down there as well. And now they go back to him. They have versatile tight ends with Brenningstool and Davis Allen. 4 yards there.
Tennessee's been so good in this part of the field. It feels like every time Clemson starts to sniff the red zone, Tennessee really starts to play with relentless effort, and they get a little bit more aggressive.
Shipley trying to probe for something, doesn't find anything as Beasley makes the tackle. But Shipley's being more patient this year. Dabo said to us the other day, listen, he's all effort, but he has slowed down to actually get faster. He's more patient to set up the blocks this year.
It certainly seems that way, and he might get another chance at it here. I think this is 4-down territory for the Clemson Tigers. Just assess what the defensive look looks like. If you see pressure, you throw it. If it looks like a favorable run look, you run it. And right now, based on how they're lining up, it looks like pressure is going to come off the left-hand side with number 24, Beasley.
3rd and 5. Klubnik looking to run it himself, and he's just tripped up by Jawan Mitchell.
Great tackle there by Jawan Mitchell to set up the 4th and short. Just awesome job in the open field. Responsible there for the quarterback run, and he makes the shoestring tackle to set up a critical 4th and short.
Here we go. 4th down. Fourth and 2. Shipley in the backfield with Klubnik. Shipley, 4th down. Did that effort get there? He looks short. As Jawan Mitchell and that crew quick to run off the field. And you can see the Clemson fans shaking their head. And it is a turnover on downs. Shipley stopped on 4th and 2.
And guess who? Number 24, Aaron Beasley, alongside Mitchell, who on consecutive plays did a great job. They knew exactly how far the ball carrier had to get. You see these two linebackers blow it up right there at the spot. Just an excellent play by these two inside linebackers.
Give credit to defensive coordinator Tim Banks, who's without Jeremy Banks, starting linebacker, without a starting safety, Trevon Flowers. And his defense, when he's had to have it, as Wright takes this ahead for a gain of 9 at the critical moments, because Clemson time and again has driven deep into Tennessee territory. But at the most critical moments, that defense has made the stop that's necessary.
2nd and short, I'd throw a fade ball top.
Instead, it's Wright, and here he goes. Jalen Wright inside the 20. R.J. Mickens had a weight on him. A 42-yard run. And how quickly things change. A turnover on downs on 4th down, an explosive play going the other way. And right now lowers the shoulders inside the 15. What a momentum swing.
And you're going to see pressure over here, and then look at these blockers to the right. Just a thing of beauty. There's no one accounting for the gap between the right guard and the right tackle, and that's exactly where Wright hit it for a big play.
Remember last year in the bowl game, he was the running back, Jalen Wright, who the officials said his forward progress was stopped when it seemingly was an overtime touchdown. Now he comes up big here in the closing seconds of this 3rd quarter. 2nd and 5. Milton pumps now to the end zone, and it's a touchdown. Rocky Top. Squirrel White. Quick strike offense again by the Vols. Shipley was stopped on 4th down. And then the Tennessee offense went right down the field in no time. As McGrath puts it through. It only took a minute 22, Greg, for Tennessee to do that.
And this is all manipulating a defender by Joe Milton. It's a thing of beauty. Watch, his eyes are going to be to the right, and they're going to scan all the way back to the left. And as a result, you're going to have that safety vacate the middle of the field, and that's exactly where he throws it. Look at the safety run to the left, and he throws it right in behind his ear. That's a great job there by Joe Milton, making sure he moves that defender, R.J. Mickens, and he throws a strike in the back of the end zone. You see the pump fake as well. That's just defender manipulation. That's a veteran player that did a terrific job making a play for a big touchdown for Tennessee.
Congrats from Josh Heupel, and then the return to his best friend, his roommate, the guy who was the star quarterback, Hendon Hooker. What a special relationship they have.
You know, guys, in a world where guys transfer multiple times because they want a job immediately, Heupel said Milton was real with himself at the end of last season. He knew there were areas that he needed to improve upon, but he could see himself being successful in this system. He recognized people at Tennessee care about him, and he loved his teammates enough to stay and compete every day. Heupel says that's rare these days.
And we're seeing the results. Dane Davis, who's a backup offensive lineman who plays on PAT, is down with a trainer looking at his left leg. A former walk-on who gives them some versatility at both tackle and guard, plays special teams. Coach Heupel out to see Dane Davis. You know, Katie, you touch on it with the story of Joe Milton. He grew up about 80 miles away in Pahokee, signed with Michigan. His career was choppy there, was the starter in 2020. Earned his degree at Michigan, but then came to Tennessee with 3 years of eligibility left. And now here he is, where he's handed the keys, Greg, to really this Ferrari of an offense. And everybody says the same thing about Joe Milton. You've been touching on it tonight. The arm strength is there. The arm talent is there. If he can just rein it in, settle in, he's going to be something special.
I'm telling you, man, he is electric from a talent standpoint,
yes.
right? I mean, that's half the equation. Now it's about being able to harness that power. I mean, having raw horsepower is great, no doubt about it. And NFL scouts all over the place will salivate at the idea of bringing him into their organization. And if there's one thing we've learned, think about how many guys you get an offense that is so quarterback friendly like you're going to see here. 1 year in this offense, and you could skyrocket all the way up to the top of the draft. I mean, look at Cam Newton 12 years ago. It can be done in 1 year now more than ever before.
Here's Shipley on the return. And it's a good one out to the 30-yard line. And That'll cap the third quarter. A third quarter where it looked like Clemson was in position to potentially tie it. Instead, Milton and the Vols come right down the field after the defense did their job. 21-6, Tennessee. College football playoff semifinals at 4-8. Monday at 5 o'clock, it's the Rose Bowl game presented by Prudential. Penn State and Utah on Monday Night Football is the Bills and the Bengals. You and I are going to be on a plane to Atlanta tomorrow to take part and help with the coverage. National radio call of Ohio State and Georgia. Georgia again in Atlanta, Greg. This is going to be game number 3 in Atlanta for the #1 team in the country. Klubnik, quick out, goes to Ngata. Of course, they won the SEC championship over LSU with 50 points and 549 yards of offense in that building.
It's going to be an awesome atmosphere tomorrow. I think both semifinal games have a chance to be really good. I am very excited about those teams taking the field and seeing what they came up with over the last few weeks.
Maffa. And he's wrapped up by Beasley. I feel like we've been calling Aaron Beasley's name about every other play.
He's been all over the place. I mean, I think he's in the running for the MVP at this point, that's for sure. But absolutely imperative for Clemson to get 6 points on this drive. Obviously, time not of the essence, still a 2-possession game, but they have to get some points here.
2nd and 7. Klubnik goes underneath. First man misses against Ngata, and Ngata slips and gets a first down as he advances it past the defender. Klubnik's 23 of 37, 249 yards. He's been managing drives time and again that get deep into Tennessee territory. But then a couple of 4th downs, fake field goal, and then moments ago that are stopped, the missed field goals, and only 6 points on the board. Play action, and he's able to connect with Cole Turner, who's a good-looking freshman receiver.
A nice throw there, too, from the opposite hash all the way to the field on a speed out. He put the perfect trajectory on it, too, because Danico Slaughter, if that ball's thrown on a line drive, he's picking it off and taking it to the house. But he threw it up and over the defender and dropped it in for a nice completion.
12 yards to Turner. Another first down for Clemson.
At some point, a shot play has to come. Formation to the boundary. This could be a spot for it.
Here's the play action. Does he have time to wind it up? No, he's going to tuck and run. And couldn't keep his balance as he is down at the 34-yard line.
They tried to dial up that shot play there with a double move to Cole Turner on a little stutter go to the left.
Plays in opponent's territory. Greg, the disparity, 46-12. 46-12, Clemson.
Unbelievable.
And yet 2 field goals to show for it. Klubnik on 2nd and 6. All the way back to midfield. It'll be 3rd down.
And this right here, Klubnik is working against a 3-man rush. Only 3 Tennessee defenders are applying pressure, and yet he's just dropping way too deep. The pocket's good. There's no reason to go anywhere. Look. Hanging, there's nothing there, nothing there. Just step up, as opposed to running to your right-hand side like most right-handed passers have a tendency to do. And then you're just running basically into trouble. The pocket was true. Stay in there and see if you can't negotiate a defender. And if you have to throw, and if you have to run vertical.
3rd and 6. Play clock counting down. As he checks down and goes to Brenningstool, turns the corner, lowers the shoulder, and with that effort will have the first down as he met up with Slaughter.
Yeah, really good block on the perimeter by Brandon Spector. Had to hold it forever, but he was able to secure the edge for Brenningstool for the conversion.
Shipley He's able to get it just inside the 20-yard line. Under 12 minutes to play, trailing by 15.
Tennessee getting some fresh bodies in there on the defensive front. Done a really good job in this part of the field applying pressure. See if they heat him up again.
He's 3rd down and 2 after Shipley's effort.
Obvious 4-down territory. He went for it on the last drive. Really no difference in situation here. So you have 2 downs to get it. You challenge the offensive line, and you expect your all-conference performer at running back to pick up the tough yards.
Shipley gets it and more. 1st and goal, Clemson. And nearly an awkward exchange with Klubnik. But now they are knocking on the door, and they need to crash on through and close this gap of this Tennessee lead. Quick to the line. Shipley again. And he's inside the 5.
See time of possession just being dominated here by the Clemson Tigers. Started to take its toll a little bit. This is the 87th offensive snap for Clemson in the ball game, and fatigue is certainly starting to become a factor for that Tennessee defensive front that has played so beautifully tonight.
2nd and goal. Klubnik keeps it and has the touchdown. Cade Klubnik takes it in. And you saw that late penalty as the Clemson team was celebrating. A flag comes in. Mom and Dad are happy. First career start, and Klubnik has himself a rushing touchdown in the Orange Bowl. Going to be against Tennessee. And there is hope again for these Tigers.
Sportsmanlike conduct, defense number 5. Penalty being forced on the half the distance to the goal.
Yeah.
For the 2-point try.
Yeah, that's a good decision, I think. You get the unsportsmanlike, and instead of basically moving your kicker up 15 yards to kick it out of the back of the end zone, you're going to have to go for 2 at some point. Might as well do it now. You're going to be 1.5 yards closer to making this a 7-point game.
And that is the opportunity that's in front of them right now. Just over 10 minutes to play. A chance to make it a 7-point game.
See the formation here for Clemson on the 2-point try. 11 personnel, 1 tight end, 3 wide receivers, and a running back. Let's see how Tennessee aligns.
At 1 tight end, Davis Allen, number 2 receiver to the near side. 2-point conversion and try to cut it to a 7-point game. Big moment for Clemson. And he's in. Will Shipley takes it in for the 2-point conversion, and Clemson cuts it to 7. Their young, high-energy running back who can do it all. After Cade Klubnik scores the touchdown, the 2-point conversion with Will Shipley extending himself and Dabo Swinney saying, hey, we've been here before. We know how to close this out. We got a ball game here in the Capital One Orange Bowl. Spring drive for Clemson. A penalty on Tennessee, and Clemson says, let's take this two-point conversion. They got it from Will Shipley, and what an incredible effort by Will Shipley to extend himself. The type of player who will sacrifice everything when he's on the field to win. He extends himself and watches right ribs as he does so, as Juwan Mitchell just drives right into him, and Shipley is hurting, Katie.
But what's wild, Tess, is after Klubnik scored the touchdown, Shipley hobbled himself into the injury tent. He was hurt. And then when Clemson decided to go for two, the staff had to come run into the tent and pull him out so he could go back in. And then he put together that gutsy run to get back into the end zone. I mean, he is unbelievably tough. The entire team feeds off of it.
Gutsy indeed.
Ribs exposed over the goal line. Just bold strategy, Cotton.
And with that, it's a 7-point game here in the fourth quarter. Allen Wright takes it ahead. Z with the tackle.
Tell you what, if Clemson doesn't figure out a way to stop this Tennessee run game, the last touchdown's not going to matter much, but they're really starting to come alive up front are the Volunteers.
Right again, as he was able to find that seam on the left side, and it's a first down for the Vols.
So much about what we've talked about in the open is that this Tennessee offense, all the love has gone to the wide receivers, but the dirty work and the run game is really what makes this offense go.
This time Carter with the tackle. It was Wes Goodwin, his first year as the defensive coordinator, replaced Brent Venables, who of course became the head coach of Oklahoma. 10 years Venables was on that job at Clemson. Second and 8. Milton play action. Flick of the wrist downfield like it's nothing, but this time it's incomplete beyond Drew McCoy.
Man, one of the few times that Milton's been off the mark tonight. That one, Drew McCoy was really working to the middle of the field, and Milton kind of threw him over the top on a little bit of a line drive. If he would have just thrown it with some air and allowed Drew McCoy, you see him adjust late, just not on the same page with the angle of the route.
And now a 3rd and 8. Can Clemson's defense get off the field here?
Keep an eye on Squirrel right here in the slot up top. He's got a nice matchup with a lot of cushion and green grass in front of him.
He had the touchdown to close out the 3rd quarter. 3rd down and 8. Milton drives the ball for a first down to Ramel Keaton as he goes beyond midfield.
Man, great timing on this throw. There's a defender right there in the middle of the field. And because Milton throws it with great timing, there's no one there for Makuba to block it down.
Milton gonna take a shot wide open, and just strutting in is Keaton. Joe Milton does it again. "46-yard touchdown to Ramel Keaton."
What an answer by the Tennessee offense. Clemson starting to sell out against the run. They recognize the one-on-one down the field, and Keaton runs a beautiful route and gets behind the defender for the easy touchdown.
And it happened so fast, just when Clemson gained some momentum. Chase McGrath puts it through. He goes 6 plays in a minute 27. In a critical juncture in the 4th quarter, Joe Milton, with all that arm talent, had Keaton just strutting right into the end zone.
Gee, too much college football is never too much. And Allstate, reminding you that football season is mayhem.
Squirrel White had the touchdown. That was earlier in the second half. Joe Milton, he's got something to celebrate after that last strike. And this guy, you know, is happy about that. Peyton Manning. Peyton said to me yesterday, he goes, Milton's got a legit arm. He said, I mean, big time arm. And Peyton is all smiles right now. He's got his family with him here in South Florida to enjoy the resurgence of his Vols and Joe Milton, who will be the starting quarterback next year, even though they've got the young superstar, Nico Iamaleava, coming in, the 5-star early enrollee who's been practicing with the team. He comes in from California, but Milton is the man, and you are seeing a glimpse of what the future is for Tennessee here tonight in this Orange Bowl.
He is awesome, man. I am so enjoying how he's playing right now.
He's going to pop this up in a fair catch at about the 30-yard line. And we remind you, of course, you know what's coming your way tomorrow, but it continues Monday at 1 o'clock on ESPN. The Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic is Tulane and USC, and then it's the Rose Bowl game presented by Prudential. Number 11 Penn State, number 8 Utah. What are we in store for with Penn State and Utah, G-Mac?
Oh, I'm so excited for it. One, I just love watching Utah. I think they're so physical and just so fun to watch. I love Cam Rising. He's just such a grinder, such a good player. And then obviously, I mean, what are we going to get from Penn State? I mean, 10-2 this year, great year. 2 losses come to 2 teams in the playoff.
Right.
I mean, that's a pretty good resume.
Klubnik, how does he respond? Trying to get it to Davis Allen, but just beyond that effort from the senior tight end.
Got to be so impressed with how Tennessee's defense has held up tonight. I know they've given up some yards, but in a bend-don't-break world, what more could you ask for? They've faced 88 offensive snaps, or given up less than 5 yards of play, and they've harassed the quarterback all night long.
Klubnik pressured again. He's able to get it to Ngata. It'll be 3rd and about 8. Ngata's been his top target tonight. 8 receptions for 84 yards. Third and 8 for the true freshman quarterback. He wants more than 8, but he doesn't get it. As he was looking for Cole Turner, who was covered by Danica Slaughter.
Terrific job by Danica Slaughter. Beat initially, but look at him catch up. But instead of collisioning the wide receiver, he looks back and goes and tries to make a play on the football. The officials, you can have contact. There's nothing wrong with contact as long as the defender is trying to make a play on the ball. That's exactly what happened right there. Just perfect execution as Clemson's going to leave their offense on the field.
From their own 33-yard line, a 4th down and 8 with just under 8 minutes to play.
Watch pressure, empty look. Keep an eye on 24. Right here, he might overload the protection.
4th down and 8 from their own 33. Klubnik all the way back to his own 10. Throws it up for grabs, and it is intercepted by the Vols. As Tamarian McDonald with the pickoff on a desperation 4th down as Byron Young was all over pressuring Cade Klubnik.
Great job by Tim Banks, the defensive coordinator, dialing up another pressure. Every time Clemson's got into empty, they've had a look where they've freed up Aaron Beasley. Clemson made a good adjustment, but Beasley was so athletic and was basically unblocked as Klubnik ran way too deep and had to throw a jump ball that was reeled in by the Volunteers. The only unfortunate thing, you love the interception, but you cost yourself a little bit of field position. If you knock it down, you get it obviously in a better spot. But either way, a great play defensively by the Volunteers.
Small run for just barely getting back to the line of scrimmage. You see that coaching staff of Clemson on the other one side, Tennessee celebrating on the other. Dabo Swinney over to his freshman quarterback. And I'll go back to what Dabo told us yesterday, Greg, where he said, hey, you got to understand with Cade Klubnik, this is not going to define his college football career, what happens in this Orange Bowl. Small tackled for a loss. And you have seen those moments where Swinney has decided, all right, listen, going to hold his hand a little bit, going to coach him up a little bit, going to embrace it. Happened just before halftime, happens here on that 4th down. Under 7 minutes to play. A timeout. Clemson trailing by 14. So this is the 20th all-time meeting between these tradition-rich programs. But 16 of the 19 previous meetings, they were all before 1944, Greg. So, I mean, this is a rare matchup that you get in the modern era. They've only played 3 times in the last 75 years. And now here they are meeting up in the Capital One Orange Bowl. Tennessee with a 28-14 lead. Jabari Small takes it to the 46. They are getting set. All the oranges are coming out of the baskets. One of the most distinct trophies in American sports will be filled up with those oranges. And timeout was used by Clemson before that snap.
They caught Clemson in a mass substitution, assuming that Tennessee was going to punt it. Clemson's entire defense starts running off the field, and then all of a sudden Tennessee tries to go hyperspeed and try to catch them with several guys on the field, and Dabo Swinney wisely called a timeout.
Reminder, tomorrow's the college football playoff semifinals on ESPN. Number 2 Michigan, number 3 TCU in the Verbo Fiesta Bowl. That's at 4 Eastern. And then at 8 o'clock, Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, number 1 Georgia, number 4 Ohio State. Time for the Brooks punting away. Williams fair catch inside the 10-yard line. AT&T countdown to the college football playoff national championship. As we get set tomorrow for Ohio State and Georgia from Atlanta, Greg.
Look at that. Of course, Clemson, no stranger to the college football playoff since its inception back in 2014. And Ohio State there for the 5th time. Oklahoma, you see on the list, the only team in that bunch that has not won a playoff game. But either way, should be a fun one tomorrow, and maybe the Buckeyes can pull off some magic like they did 9 years ago.
Yeah, they were the 4 seed then. Had the wins over number 1 Bama, number 2 Oregon. Klubnik from his own end zone, as he should have had it to Ngata, and Ngata dropped it. You look down at these stats for Clemson and you shake your head and say, how? 92 plays to this point. That's the record in the Capital One Orange Bowl. 92 plays. We still have 6 minutes to play and they're trailing, and they only have 14 points.
It'll be well north of 35 minutes of time of possession as well.
Klubnik, that was incomplete, looking for Williams. Of course, with Tennessee, things happen so quickly. Time of possession doesn't often come into the conversation for them. They had the 3 quick strike scores here in the second half.
Got to be impressed with how Tennessee's defense is held up, though, for the most part. I mean, that's a lot of snap exposure, and they're still coming after the quarterback just as hard as they did in the first quarter.
Third down, Klubnik again, extending the play from his own end zone, giving directions now downfield, and incomplete. He was trying to position it for Cole Turner on the sideline.
almost impossible to justify going for it here. I mean, basically gift wrapping the game to Tennessee, but because of the substitution issue, you're down to just one timeout. Tennessee can obviously put this thing away with a couple first downs, and probably only a first down or two away from field goal range to begin with when they receive this punt.
It's an umbrella knuckler for D. Williams to field at the 47. And he makes the most of it on the return. Once we finish up here, we invite you to stay tuned for the Capital One Orange Bowl MVP and trophy presentation. There it is, all filled up now for us. Orange Bowl committee, they get to work quickly.
Very neat.
MVP is an interesting discussion because obviously the moments Joe Milton's had will catch eyes, 3 touchdown passes, but defensively, what Aaron Beasley's been able to do in this game, the linebacker for Tennessee, has been something special.
Beasley would be my vote for the MVP. I mean, and think about who he's in place for, too. I mean, Jeremy Banks not available, opting out. Beasley has had himself a night. I mean, 9 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, a couple sacks, pass breakup, and constant quarterback pressure. I mean, he's been as disruptive as anybody on that field for the Clemson Tigers.
Small took it ahead for 6 yards, and now Milton gets it to the outside to the very active Squirrel White. No Cedric Tillman, no Jalen Hyatt, Jimmy Callaway and Jimmy Holiday transferred out, so they were thinned out at receiver. But Squirrel White, Drew McCoy, and Joe Milton, and this offense, they've stayed the course with the system that they know how to play. And a veteran quarterback who you can see him just embracing this opportunity.
We've also had some guys really step up at wide receiver.
Ramel Keaton as well.
Ramel Keaton has been huge, and Squirrel White, tons of volume, 10 targets, 9 catches, 108 yards, just that reliable piece there in the slot. So important to what they do in this offense. It's just been a clinic, really, from Tennessee offensively, with the efficiency that they've played with for most of the game.
Here's the guy that set the foundation this year, Hendon Hooker, the SEC Offensive Player of the Year. Milton was brought down after going ahead for just a yard by KJ Henry. Will Shipley, he has given so much of himself. We saw it moments ago with that 2-point conversion. He took the big hit right in the ribs when he was extending himself to close this to what at the time was a 7-point margin. Then Milton struck again as he went deep to Keaton.
And obviously put the game on ice with a field goal, but you got to wonder, they try to go for the jugular here.
3rd and 9. Trying to extend and get to it was Milton, but he will be short as Jeremiah Trotter was able to make the tackle. There is Trotter, 2nd-team All-American. And timeout used by Clemson. We'll take a short break. Tennessee looks to put this away. Look forward to hearing that. It'll be interesting to hear the conversation with Reese and the observations going on in Atlanta as everybody prepares for the college football playoff tomorrow. Chase McGrath on to attempt the field goal. Of course, Chase McGrath will never have to buy a drink or a dinner in Knoxville, Tennessee after what he did against Alabama. 32-yard attempt. As Tennessee looks to strut on home with a trophy filled with oranges. Reminder that after the game, stay tuned for the Ram Trucks post-game on ESPN. It's amazing when you look back before a season starts, what we think we know and then what we realize. Think about some of the things people were saying about Tennessee this summer. Yeah, you know, a trendy pick, a team that's got some upside.
Right.
How about a team that beats Alabama, that rises up to the #1 team in the country, and that goes on to do this in an Orange Bowl against the ACC champs?
It's been an amazing year. I mean, it really has. And I remember in the offseason, we kind of pointed to them at media day saying, hey, you know what? They kind of feel a little bit like Ole Miss in 2021. Like, if they could just improve a little bit on defense, look out, Tennessee could be a major problem. Well, they did that. And now they're just a couple minutes away from an Orange Bowl championship in their first 11-win season in 2 decades.
Of course, Josh Heupel, year #2 at Tennessee. But you think about Josh Heupel and you think about this place. How about going back to the BCS National Championship, the 2001 Orange Bowl, and when he was the star quarterback for Oklahoma, leading the Sooners to the national championship with that win against Florida State.
Yeah, I remember it vividly. Probably the first national championship where I can almost remember just about every play. And what a player he was, and obviously the system that he's brought to Knoxville has just been so much fun to cover and watch, and it just feels like they're just getting started with all the great things that are coming their way.
Cade Klubnik's going to have a bright future ahead of him. Now, this was quite the challenge tonight. Tim Banks and his defense, they've been bringing it after him.
Yeah, they have, and you got to give a ton of credit to the defense for the Tennessee Volunteers. A couple weeks back against South Carolina, just a painfully bad performance, and they were really hurt by the perception of the defense because they had done such a great job to change the narrative and to show so much growth on that side of the ball this year, and they really have. They've grown by leaps and bounds, and they had one bad day. It just didn't go their way, and they ran into a buzzsaw, but my goodness, look at the response in the last 2 games. To play as well as they did against Vanderbilt, and anyone that says, well, that's Vanderbilt. No, Vandy's got a great run game. They're difficult to prepare for. And then to do it again after a long layoff in a bowl game like this, just incredibly impressive for Tim Banks and his whole defense.
Klubnik on 3rd down. And that was broken up. The flag is down as Drew Sweeney was the intended target. And Juwan Mitchell was coming in defensively.
Pass interference. Defense, number 10. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Let's take a peek at it. Yeah, as you can see, it does look like Juwan Mitchell, as he was trying to break it up, arrived just a little bit early. Yeah, as you can see, that left arm wrapping around the intended wide receiver, Drew Sweeney. And that was a good call by the official. You see Ngata a little banged up on the play as well.
He's had the ball thrown him 11 times tonight. 8 catches for 84 yards. He's been dealing with injuries throughout his career. Ngata still has that extra COVID exempt year, could return next year. Cade Klubnik, of course, will have a very different spring and summer ahead of him, knowing he's the man.
It's so hard to play at an insanely consistently high level as a true freshman. I mean, guys like Trevor Lawrence ruin it for everybody. I mean, they really do. I mean, those guys are generational, and Klubnik's going to be a really good player, but you can see at this point of his career, he has a little bit of growing up to do. The talent is there.
Like that. Or he hits Adam Randall when he had a defensive lineman right on top of him. Interception by Randall, who tore his ACL in the spring.
I remember as a young player too, I remember coach saying, your highs are too high for the high and too low for the low. You just have to even that out and become a more predictable player, and that's going to be the task for Klubnik in the offseason.
This floats up there and falls incomplete. It was nearly intercepted by Wesley Walker. Being solid, simply solid and reliable is a skill.
Predictable.
That's a talent.
Predictability is the best ability. Well, availability too, and dependability. There's a bunch of very important abilities, Joe. But I do think knowing what you're going to get from the quarterback position is imperative. And you can see, I mean, there's growing that's going to happen, and Dabo Swinney has been hands-on all night long with his young quarterback. He's going to be just fine. I look forward to watching him in 2023 and beyond.
Good job finding that pocket between the corner and the safety as he hits Davis Allen. Big Joe Milton, what a day for him. 3 touchdown passes. He's out there, is inspired by his roommate, his best friend, Hendon Hooker. So going out and playing for Hendon, who put so much into this season, put them in position to contend for the college football playoff with a record-setting offense. And now it's Joe who's delivering. As Randall gets another reception, another first down in the final 2 minutes here for Clemson. And there is Hendon Hooker on crutches. A great conversation with Katie earlier about what it means to be here and supporting this team. By the way, Hendon Hooker's family also came down here to Miami for this Orange Bowl to support the teammates.
It's so cool, man. I mean, what a great guy and what a great story he was all season long. And we look forward to following his draft process and be a fan of his wherever he ends up.
Klubnik to the end zone, and that ball is intercepted by Wesley Walker. An interception by Walker on what was Clemson's 100th play run. And that'll put this game away.
Kind of throws it up for grabs, a bit of a prayer. How about Walker having the wherewithal to, no, I'm not going to do it. Wanted to take it back, but resisted the urge to leave the end zone. And now when his offense is on the field, won't have to take a knee at the 1 yard line. So good decision there from the defender. What a year for the Volunteers, man.
Rocky Top hits just a little bit differently this year, doesn't it, when they sing it?
It does. It's great to have Tennessee back, man. Their fans are rabid. It's a wonderful place to go to a game. And they're going to be heading into 2023 with some massive expectations built on the foundation of what this 2022 team accomplished.
Josh Heupel, year number 2 at Tennessee. And this is now the reward they get. The 44-year-old who now will have 6 wins over ranked opponents in just 2 seasons. And a New Year's 6 victory here. And really, when you look at this matchup, this Capital One Orange Bowl, Greg, and you eliminate the national title games and the CFP games that have been played in this game, the highest ranked Orange Bowl matchup in 20 years. Number 6 versus number 7. And you're going to have a 31-14 victory.
Yeah, it was dominant. It certainly was. And Clemson had their opportunities, but every time they got within striking distance, they were denied. by Tennessee, and as soon as Clemson captured a little bit of momentum, Tennessee took it right back. Just a terrific performance on both sides of the football.
Best formation football there is. And that feeling for Josh Heupel. The Tennessee Volunteers are the champions of the Capital One Orange Bowl. And Joe Milton has got to feel great. (31-14).